From LLS, we have Sumi for the interview. Pleasure to have you with us. And
Pleasure's mine.
I feel like this is a tough interview because this will be aired tomorrow, which will be on your match day, and you still have an opportunity to make playoffs, but it's a small opportunity. So let's start this interview with how's the heart right now? Because it's getting close.
It's getting really close, but my heart's pretty relaxed. I mean, we just gotta do what we gotta do. Gotta perform, and except for that, it's not really in our hands at the moment anymore. So yeah.
Okay. So going to the show part of the interview, who are you, Sumi? Tell me a little bit about yourself. We want to know you.
Um, well, I'm Sumi. My real name is Max. Just a guy that's 23. Studied history. Been playing competitive for about roughly 5 years now, on and off. I played a lot in the Benelux region. Had some good placements there sometimes, and now I play in NLC.
So you told me on and off. Does that mean from time to time you went away from competitive and then you returned?
Yeah, I sometimes took a break for one split to focus on finishing my studies, for example, and doing that.
Have you finished them?
I have now finished them, yes.
What did you study?
This history, as I said before.
History. Okay. So do you want to be a teacher or you want to? What's your goal?
No,
Yeah.
for me. I just like I do that part time. I work in like archives and stuff. Just sorting things, like doing stuff like that.
Because it looks like you're a really chill guy, really down to earth as well. So what do you do outside of League of Legends and the archives, for instance?
Oh, outside of League of Legends, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just try to hang out with friends, just with my girlfriend, just having a good time, right, in life. And besides that, at the moment, I just work part time in the archives for the university, and that's just what I do.
Okay, so you have that and you play League of Legends, but do you play anything outside of League of Legends? Is there any other game?
I really love Path of Exile. It's my favorite game outside League of Legends.
Oh, nice. Okay, so do you play like from season to season or do you have like a permanent character?
I play from season to season. I play nearly every season, with a few exceptions.
Okay, because I'm an addicted guy to Path of Exile, by the way. So,
Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah, I'm a PoE enjoyer as well. So PoE
Same.
2 almost out as well. So when that coming out, you'll be enjoying that a little bit. You'll be going into the cave and just playing PoE 2. No.
Absolutely.
So it seems like you have a history of ARPGs. Outside of PoE, did you play like Diablo and other stuff?
Yeah. I played both Diablos, Diablo 2 and 3. And besides that, I don't play it anymore, but I played World of Warcraft for like 10 years also. So I played a lot of that.
Okay. So
And I started playing League since I was like 10 or something.
10.
So I've been playing. Yeah. I was going home from elementary school and putting up some League and playing with my friends from elementary school.
How did you find League? How did it pop? The elementary school, how did it pop?
It wasn't me. Like I was at the time I was already playing WoW. And some friend of mine at the elementary school, he was just like, "Hey, it's a cool game. Come check it out." And I was like, "Okay, sure." And then I ended up playing with him, and I was just playing like I think I was like playing a Mumu every game in like Twisted Tree Line or something.
Oh, the good old days
Yeah.
of Twisted Tree Line. Was that
Yeah.
your first champion as well, Amumu?
I don't remember what my first champion was, to be honest. I just remember I used to play a lot of Mumu in Twisted Tree Line. But it was like so when you're 10, like how do I even remember what I was playing? I have no clue.
That was a long time ago. So did you start watching competition, like the competitive side of League of Legends back in the day, or did it take a few years until you get into it?
The first competitive event I watched was season 2 World Championships. That was the first competitive event I watched because it showed up on like, I don't know, it was like Twitch or YouTube or something, I don't remember. And it was like, hey, that's cool, I've never seen before. And then I just ended up watching a lot of it.
If I'm not mistaken, that was the year of like the turtle stance where everybody was just turtling back, so the games would go like 40, 50 minutes. Was that the one?
Oh, it was a rough, like on mid lane, I remember it was like Anivia Oriana.
Yeah.
And they would just clear waves for 40 minutes because Baron did nothing, and that's just kind of what happened.
One team fight, game is over. That was it, right?
Yeah. It was because the death timers would always at that time death timers were also so long, and the death timers were just like 70 seconds, 80 seconds. If you die, it's just over.
And people complain about it now. Like, you haven't experienced real League of Legends. You guys have no idea back at home.
Yeah, no, it was bad. It was bad.
So when you started watching, was that any sort of player that you looked and you were like, dude, I want to be like him?
Yeah, my favorite player at the time by far was Toys, the one with World One, because he was the winner of the first event I watched.
Oh, okay. I was like waiting for Faker or something like that. So why did you
No,
get lured into the mid lane? Was it also like,
I watched him. I watched him play, and I was like, "That's so cool! I want to play like Anivia all day too, and Oriana." Because I used to main Anivia for a long time, and a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, Frogan made me play." No, Toys made me play Anivia.
yeah, when you talk about Anivia,
Yeah,
everybody going for Froggen. Hey man, he
yeah,
did
yeah,
Froggen
yeah.
as well. Like, you go
Well,
back.
I did end up watching him after that because Frogan played a lot in season 3, 4 Anivia as well, right? And I watched that and was like, hey, that's also really cool. But the first dude I watched was Toys, so yeah.
Damn. So when you started competitively, like the first year, do you still recall when you really started it? What season
Yeah.
was it?
2000, like it was very, it was off season end like in winter 2018 or like beginning of 2019,
Okay.
depending on how you count it. But I did actually, in the end of 2018 was when I got my first kind of team, but I got kicked out in like 2 weeks. So does it really count? I don't know about
What
that, but
happened?
yeah.
What happened with that relationship? What
Well, I was just bad, right? I was just bad. I mean, that's just how it is.
It is what it
But
is, yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. But I also was like, I had a very flip playstyle, and it did not work in competitive, and I had to adjust for a while. But yeah,
So you had to go into the workshop and understand what to make what to make of your playstyle.
yeah,
That's an
of
interesting
course.
side as well. So
I
when
was
you
just playing. Oh, I was just doing things like playing a Kali in LeBlanc, and I would just go in level 3 every single game. I would flip the game every single game, and now I'm a lot chiller. Yeah.
That's what I want to ask. Like when you look into your gameplay and playstyle, how would you describe yourself to people that don't know you yet?
Um, I'm the type of guy that likes to pull out cool picks and just do cool things. And then generally, I really like playing very aggressive around mid lane. You see that in our games as well, like very clearly. When we have a good matchup and our jungler is around, we just go for it, and we're not afraid to play through mid lane and then try to win the game that way.
And when you look into your team, now looking into light sides, you have a very specific amount of individuals in your team that stand out due to their playstyle. You have an aggressive playstyle. Look into the bot side. You have you have some interesting playstyle as well.
Mm.
What do you believe is the key strength of light side?
I think one of our key strengths is just that we definitely have a type of playstyle that's pretty obvious, but we stick to it and try to make it work while still having some variety. Like we have some games where for example, hey, even if you play mage bot lane, there's a very big difference between playing a Swain and Aurelion. For example, it's a big difference.
Yeah, it's not a squishy
So
champion. Like you can go in, you can brawl.
exactly. So even within our own confines of our playstyle, we can bring a lot of variety and take people off guard in games like that that are from teams that people don't expect us to win versus.
At the beginning of the split, when I saw the way you guys were playing, I definitely looked into the team and I was like, this could be a top four. Undisputed. Like this could be a top four. So when you go through the entire split, what makes you think that it's not so sure right now? As you stated at the beginning, you still don't know. It's not up to you anymore to make
Yeah.
playoffs. Where do you believe it missed the arrow?
I think we just had a lot of consistency issues. We had a period where we were trying out different things that were simply not our thing, and it didn't end up working. There was also a good period. I mean, it's a bit of an excuse, but there was a good period where we had one guy leaving on the vacation for a week, and then the next guy, and the next guy, and then it's like, wow, now we have 3 weeks where we have like 2 scrims with the full roster, and it's like, okay, that's rough, that's rough.
Yeah.
But we're not full-time players, right? We make do with the best we can, and it was a bit of an unforeseen circumstance.
So
And as I
now,
said, besides that, the playstyle switch that we try to do a bit, because we try to, hey, we see all these people playing meta, and why don't we play meta? And then we're like, wait a second, but we're playing NLC 2. Why would we even play meta? Just play what we're good at.
I agree with that 100%. And when you look into the schedule that you have ahead of yourself, Verdant, Venom Crest. Are you concerned, or are you like, right, we got these two in the bag. We're fighting versus Venom Crest, so if you want to take Venom Crest place, might as well show everybody that we deserve that place. Is that any concern, or?
Um, I think we already beat Verdant very convincingly last time, so I'm not really concerned about that. And they don't seem to be in good shape either the last few weeks. They've been losing a lot. And for Venom Crest, I think they're quite a tough matchup for us because they're one of the few teams that also plays a lot of major spot and stuff. And they also have like kind of a team fight style like us, which we do kind of have. So yeah, we just kind of have to beat them at their own game, and I think it's tough. But I think we can do it. I think last time there were definitely last game against them, we showed a lot of moments that were like it was quite close. It was really close to one team fight, and then we just lost.
I totally agree. The fact that Venom Crest pulled something like you guys did at the beginning, then they started adapting into that mage a bot lane, and now they're doing the same, but they're looking close into playoffs. And when you look into the idea that you have to fight against a team that is playing the same game as you are, what is your biggest concern? Because that is an interesting take. Like when you're fighting someone that is like yourself.
I mean, one of the biggest concerns is that we know how good it is to have like someone able to play a major bot lane, for example. We know how good it is because it opens up. You can always pick AD mid jungle if you want. You can always pick AD mids and whatever you want. You can just pick a mage and flex it. It opens all the little things. So we really have to be careful with what they're gonna be doing and what their plan is. And also there will be a lot of super highly contested picks, things like Y, for example, which we
Yeah.
both play on 2 lanes and things like that.
Yeah, champion select will kind of define the game itself, and it's the best of one. It's harsh. It is harsh nowadays looking
It is.
into the best of one. And when you look into the entire split, what is your biggest takeaway with light side and NLC? Like, what stands out to you?
I think one of the biggest takeaways is that for us that we can perform really well even in a competition that's like NLC. Like people did not expect us to perform at all, and I think we clearly showed that we can beat top teams. We beat Rudy before, for example, and I think people maybe overestimate like how big the gap is between Div 1 and Div 2, for example, because Fruity and me, we were Div 2 players left split. We even have 2 Div 3 players left split. And people that have been playing Div 1 the entire time are just getting beaten by that. So the gap is not that big at all if we are in reach of playoffs right now.
Why do you think that is the reason why it is?
I think of course a while ago NLC had quite frankly a lot better teams, right? There was just a lot more investment in the region. There were just these names that were like, hey, these people should probably be playing in LFL 1, not in NLC 1. Let's be real. But they were playing in NLC, right? And now that's kind of been going away. But that opens up for, I think, a lot more local talent. I think if you have a few good players from Div 2 that are like local talents, I think you should absolutely be looking to bring them up. Because I do believe you're kind of showing that even local talent can perform pretty well. For Fruity is an actual local talent that's new.
Yeah. And I like the idea that NLC is picking more of the region instead of just going outside as well and believing more in the NLC region itself. It's interesting. And the reshape of NLC, when you look into it, it seems like Summer Split was an entire reshape of the region and bringing that talent and believing in new talent as well, like yourself. When you look into that, do you
Well,
feel like
I'm not
hope?
really new talent, to be fair. I don't call myself new talent, but
But
I've
you
been playing
know,
for 5 years.
but you
But
know the
yeah,
idea of bringing people like who is he? Like bring him in. I like
of course.
that believing in the talent. And when you look into this, does it make you feel hopeful towards the future of NLC?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been seeing it recently a lot with my own region too, for example. My own region has recently, from getting all the time imports to now they actually have a lot of good upcoming local talent from second division. And I see the exact same thing happen with NLC too. And I think that's the best way forward for a lot of these not top tier leagues to like get a good ecosystem.
I like it. Final question for you, Sumi. If you had to tell someone to read a book, what would be your top three?
My top three.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, I like um. I'll just leave you with one really comical one,
Yes.
which I found really good. It's a book by George Orwell. I mean, people don't like him and stuff, but this is more of a comedy book. It's called Down, Out, and Under, and it's basically about how him living in the most horrendous slums of Paris and London. And I just love a bit of historical insight pieces like that because he actually wrote it basically at the time that he just got out of these slums. And it's just a bit of insight into history, how it actually was to be a poor working man living day to day. and it's just very comical to me. Comical and really interesting also.
It's good to get this perspective from players as well, the outside of League of Legends. That tells a lot about yourself, by the way, Sumi. Thank you so much for the interview. I hope you had a pleasure with us, and best of luck.
Thank you, and thank you for the interview. And hopefully people enjoy watching.
Yes.